county prison doing 90 days for non-support. Tried to find me an executive position, but no matter how smooth I talk, they wouldn't listen to the fact that I was a genius. The man said we got all that we can use. Now I got them steadily depressing, low down mind messing, working at the car wash blue.
Well, I shouldn't be sitting in a half-conditioned office in a swivel chair, talking some trash to the secretary, saying, yeah, partner, come on over here. Instead of stuff, pimp, rubbing these fenders with a rag and walking home in sake old shoes. But with them steadily depressing, low down mind messing, working at the car wash booth.
You know a man of my ability, he should be smoking on a big cigar.
But till I get myself straight, I guess I'll just have to wait in my rubber suit of rubbing these cars.
Well, all I can do is to shake my head. You might not believe that it's true.
Oh, working at the St. John Niagara Falls, there's a undiscovered hour of cruise. So baby,
don't expect to see me with no double martini and in my highbrow society news. Cause I got them steadily depressing, low down mind messing, working at the car wash booth.
Problems, I feel bad for you, son. I got 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. If you got some dough, 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. He's my whole asshole. 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. I got the route patrol on the cat patrol. Those that wanna make sure that my casket's closed. And my trunk is raw. In my rear view is the motherfucking law. 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. Bad for you, son. 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. But a bitch ain't one. 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. But a bitch ain't one. 99 problems, but a bitch ain't one. 99, oh. Whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa. With holes in your zapatos, well, you'd celebrate the minute you was having dough.
If you don't subscribe to Phantom Facts Society, then don't talk to me or my son ever again.
You want to see somebody that responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person a little bit more ease, knowing that somebody might understand their situation better. Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire, which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
Broadcasting live from the Free Speech Studios. Deep within the city of Fountain, with over 4 years of satisfying the curious mind and looking damn sexy while doing it. Ladies and gentlemen, Phantom Facts Society.
You gotta let it breathe extra long on Hump Day, ladies and gentlemen. I am your host, Cussing with Hussing. Joined May, you get riled up every time you hear that intro. You're just like, do you play it? Get your woman worked up right before? Just like, honey, let's put on Phantom Facts.
Put it in Blue Chew and just go to town.
How are we the only podcast on this planet that does not have a Blue Chew sponsorship? That is bad management on my part, and I apologize, Chris, but I don't know how to get it. I just can't do it. Who would do that, Reed?
I'd do it. Take 5 or 6 of them. Get real stiffed up for the read.
Walk around. Oh, dear God. Help us all. Well, welcome to Hump Day, everybody. I am sick, so I will be, trying to whisper was my goal going into it. I've already found myself shouting. So that's it's gonna bode well for me. How you doing, May? How's your weekend been?
Oh man, I'm just getting over being sick too. Ear infection, just the coughs. It's just it sucks.
It's that time of year, I guess. So if
Yeah.
they do say though the best thing to cure the wintertime colds season is to
Blowjob?
listen. No, it's to listen to Phantom Fact Society, but blowjob ended up sounding better. God damn it.
You could do both. Yeah.
Technically, I'm not going to go there. We have 4
Go
calls.
there.
That's not right away. It's been a crazy week as far as news has gone. We had a couple. I want to regroup. First of all, the 2 brothers and the swinging boxing glove. I thought, did you see that intro there? One of the videos we played. Oh man, you missed gold. You missing gold. I'm dropping there for you. Let me see here.
The little brother always loses.
He dropped it too. He dropped it right at the end there. I thought that was funny, dude. Crazy news. We got to catch up though. Did you get a chance to listen to the Haitian interview with Flora Kelly?
Yep. What?
Did that not blow your mind? Or
Yeah,
did you already
the taking the organs and shit, it's just that part just whoa, wild.
selling them to Russians?
Yeah, exactly. Why? To live longer? Like, joke's on you. I took the COVID shot. My heart sucks.
Good luck.
Yeah. Good luck to you.
Good luck to you. Oh man, dude, I was fascinated. It was interesting to hear. Like I had heard about the Clinton stuff, but it's all secondhand, and it was so nice of Flora to hop on the show and actually discuss what her family went through. It's absolutely crazy. I wanted to get your take on it though, if anything stood out. The Oregon thing is crazy, dude. We got banned, we got kicked off. That video got banned on TikTok. Oregon one for misinformation, and we appealed it, and then it got put back on.
Okay.
So I mean, kudos to TikTok. I think they're just in a we don't give a fuck stage right now.
Yeah, we're about to get rid of it.
Oh, dude, I feel horrible for this, but I've been paying attention to some other stuff. Have you heard about if the TikTok ban's going through or not? I know we're going to.
No, I don't know. I don't know if it is or not. I know everyone is making their final stand and pushing back against it, and I don't know. I don't know if it'll go away or not. I know everyone was joining Redbox or Red Boot or whatever the hell it is. All the jokes about joining that. But I don't know. I mean,
What is the Red Boot stuff about? Do you know?
no, I have no idea. I'm not going to download it. I didn't want to download TikTok, and I did, and I'm glad for a lot of it. A lot of it, like just a big old community hodgepodge of just random knowledge and shit that you can learn, and it was just right there. You could type in anything, and it was somebody was talking about something, even if it was factual or not. I mean, it was entertaining.
Well, that's where we found Floor was on TikTok. We found a lot of our guests through TikTok. So, it's just easy accessibility if you want to reach out to people.
Mhm.
And in X sort of has that same capability, but the show's starting soon. Man, you got to help me out here. Come on.
Oh shit! Sorry.
Come on, we're falling apart. No, I think X is sort, but like if you get rid of TikTok, dude, I mean, then they can just start saying whatever they want to ban. Is that how that works? Or
I think what scares them is like TikTok. You can just, I mean, what I've noticed is just a hodgepodge. Like I said, it's a potluck dinner. I mean, it's everything. Everyone comes together. We were unified for a hot minute, and it was nice, you know.
hey,
I think they're scared that we were coming together, getting knowledge, all types of random knowledge that they
yeah.
didn't teach you in schools and everything else, and it was just opening a lot of people's eyes, and they were like, "Oh shit, we can't have this. We can't have educated people on the streets."
Okay. We're gonna play this clip. I was gonna save it to the end of the show, but I feel like we should play it at the beginning of the show because I have noticed that there is a trend here at Phantom Facts, and we need
people who say that they would rather go without breakfast than go without their affirmations each morning. Speak to yourself positively. Use positive self-talk all the time. Remember, you talk to yourself at the rate of almost 1,500 words a minute. Most people talk to themselves in terms of doubt and fear and worry and anxiety. Talk to yourself positive.
We talk about our situations positive, May. All right.
Yep.
Mr. Eeyore over there just like, well, it's all good and fucking shit.
That is true.
Can't make me yell. I can't do it.
I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. Just repeating, I can do it. I can do it over and over again. Boost your self-confidence and boost your self-esteem.
This is the thing with TikTok, with YouTube, with all of these different, they all had their moments of non-censorship, which led to a uniting of a people. And then it got fragmented, and then, it gets built back together. And each time it gets fragmented, it just gets built back together quicker now.
Yeah.
Like they're not going to stop. They're not going to be able to stop it.
No.
It's not going to be able to stop. And I think that's the positive thing is like, hey, like it's sort of fun that they're even trying right now. Like they think they can stop the internet in America.
When you have nothing else to do, say, I like myself, I like myself, I like myself, I like myself. Because saying I like myself or I love myself expands.
Did you tell yourself today, May, that you love yourself?
Absolutely not.
May.
No. I'll do it right now. Okay.
You got to say it out loud. No, it's got to be, you got
to talk to yourself. That's how I talk to myself. I just,
All right. What have you heard on the news? Anything? I saw that you're on the hip hop bandwagon there for Jaguar Wright. You sent me a bunch of videos about her.
Yeah, she's just fascinating. Even if it's true or not, it's she gets all talking, her titties get all flapping out, and she just gets all loud and like, I just love. She just is just throwing it out there.
I can't believe out of everyone that's been on Phantom Facts, co-hosted on Phantom Facts, you're the one that ended up being the hip hop for this show. I did talk about a left turn. All right, let's play a little Jaguar Wright. Let's see some titties.
He died because of your liquor.
Targeted because he's.
First of all, I apologize. I shouldn't have started.
No. And this is not the clip to start it with them bouncing.
No.
These are the puppies are covered.
Yeah, well, and rightfully so. So
Yeah. Yes.
let's catch everyone up on what's going on in the Molech world. So we have the whole P Diddy thing, but Jaguar Wright's really focused in on Beyonce and Jay-Z.
Yes.
And I was always sort of curious as to why, because I guess I didn't get the connection, what her connection was to them. So, like, why would she have a personal beef with them? And I feel like this video probably explains it a little bit better.
Son, he died because of your
He's
like
targeted because he's my son. He was about to. He was working on his EP. I bought Philadelphia for him, so he didn't have to sign to a company because I knew what it was going to do. He interned at Rock Nation.
So her boy interned under, now Rock Nation is Jay-Z's company.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they approached him to sacrifice me. He got caught up in a case. He went into the system, and then when he got out, he got to the halfway house. I moved us here. I saw his death when he was 19.
So, like, I have seen this now pop up more and more about how there's just sort of this general. I've seen it on. I think I've retweeted some on Phantom Society on our X account, where these stars are bringing their families to parties, and everyone just sort of belittles them. Like, why would
Yeah.
you gotta cut that loose? You know, there's a very strong distinction of cutting paternal ties in order to fully be accepted by Hollywood. You know,
Yeah.
unless your family's in Hollywood,
Yes.
then it's fine.
But there was some kind of sacrifice somewhere along the. That's the gist of it. Is you have to be willing to give something loved and cherished and whatnot to have the skin in the game, you know, and the kids or family members, mom, dads.
Isn't that crazy that that's a thing?
Yeah.
Like, even if there's no, like, let's just take this, like, the spiritual side out of it. You just have a bunch of people running around believing that you have to sacrifice your family in some way or another
Yeah.
to fully commit to Hollywood.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Jesus.
I mean, some family, you know, you got to cut loose and whatnot, just because you know you don't want to be stuck in a box or it's you know. So sometimes you have to, but you know these situations it just seems a little different.
Well, yeah. I mean, like, even if you're raised Christian, the Bible very clearly states, like, a son will grow up to leave his father and mother, and it makes a clear distinction that there should be a separation as far as dependency and
Mm-hmm.
reliance, but there shouldn't be like a paternal severing of the relationship. It's still good to have your parents around. Like, Jesus Christ, like, some of these people just. I wish I could remember what that one clip was. I think it was like Colbert talking to someone, and they're like, "Why are you bringing your family around?" And she's like, "They're my friends. They're like my actual friends." They're like, "You gotta get over that."
I moved us here to stop it, to prevent it, to avoid it. And it happened anyway. And see, that's when I knew that Kanye's mom, Kanye would have never wanted Donda dead. Not even by natural causes. I was happy when he finally accepted it. Because they sacrifice your loved ones, whether you agree or not. See, sometimes you agree and they put you in position, but sometimes you disagree. And they take them anyway to show you what the harm is. You know, it's Giovanni. His death is why I do what I do.
Jaguar, right? That makes a lot more sense now. I thought she was just some sort of jealous backup singer or something, you know.
Yeah.
You know, I
No,
mean, like,
they took her family. I mean, that's the crazy part is that they do it to show you, hey, you don't fuck with us. We're gonna get ours, you know. And then that's shitty. That's so shitty. Imagine to sacrifice a family member and then it doesn't work, or it turns out like a lot of these people are realizing, oh fuck, like what have I done? You know, it wasn't worth it. You know, and then they end up crazy on the streets, Orlando Brown or whatever the dude's name is, and just different people. You know, like I don't know if he sacrificed anybody, but it's just like you try to get out and then they pit you into this unstable fucking, you know, crazy person, and just then you're just looked upon funny, and then you know, they either take you out Aaron Carter style, or you know, you just kind of fade into nothingness.
it makes me weary of ever joining a secret society.
Oh, anything, yeah.
You know, just because, like, you know, you are not, if you join, you are then not in control of the decisions being made. And
Yeah.
you don't know what consequences there are for standing up for yourself in a situation like that. You know,
And
it's
there's
hard.
usually no getting out either.
Yeah, and it's hard enough to stand up for yourself just outside in the regular life, you know,
Yeah.
much less an organized group of men who decide to, you know, go against you.
What was that movie? Bones or Skulls or fucking yeah.
Bones, whatever, yeah.
Yeah. You
Yeah.
know,
There's another one with Tom Cruise.
Eyes Wide Shut.
Yeah, Eyes Wide
Yeah.
Shut. I've been seeing that pop up a lot about the director Kubrick. Was he the one? Stanley Kubrick, I think, directed that.
Yeah.
He died after that movie came out. Interesting. Interesting. I got a little Cat Williams talking about the similar stuff here.
Ricky Smiley knows this, and I don't know why he would lose a child and come on the air and start lying. That's why people believe in rituals right there. It's because, well, why would he lie? I don't know why liars lie.
Yeah, he just had another one to think about. Maybe it was Jamie Foxx talking about his clone. How Jamie Foxx's clone is doing too much, and you know, coming out like not following, I guess, the path and stuff. I don't know. It was I should have sent it to you. I saw it on Twitter the other day. Cat Williams at a performance. I think he was talking about Jamie Foxx.
I've heard some yeah, there's just some interesting stuff with that whole clone stuff.
Yeah.
Some of these people, they just, and it could be that they just are genuinely not healthy. You know, maybe the old blood supply's dried up in Hollywood.
I guess.
I don't know. There's some weird stuff going on for sure.
I mean, you got to burn the tunnels right now, so you gotta all traces need to go bye bye.
God damn it, dude. There's a bunch of stuff going on right now. Have you seen the J? We should just go into the JFK stuff right away. Have you seen any of the JFK stuff? Have you
Lately?
heard about it? Yes, as of yesterday.
Was it aliens?
Well,
The
Alex
documents
Jones.
finally get released?
No, of course not. Of course not. But Alex Jones got some tasty
From Cash Patel, because Cash Patel, I think, said he knows who killed JFK.
Yeah. No, it's not from Cash Patel. Let me see where I can find. Oh, there it is. I'll just play a little clip of it, right? That's a little teaser. The full audio that's been retrieved from Alex Jones is 8 minutes long. And it's a discussion between Clifton Carter, who was the head of the DNC during the Kennedy Lyndon B. Johnson era, with a discussion with another Texan who was a businessman with Lyndon B. Johnson.
How's life treating you today? Well, Saul, it's been a pretty touch and go situation. Lyndon and I have had quite a few unpleasant words here lately over the deal with that he hired Mike Wallace to assassinate the president. It's been hectic in every way, but we've lived through it this far. I guess we'll continue to do so. Lyndon should have never issued that order to Mike. But we've had our differences, and I'm a true blue to Lyndon, as I've always been, and tried to carry out every order that he'd ever given me. But this is one I'll probably never be able to forget. And the times that we've had in Texas, and the embarrassment that Lyndon had gotten from Kennedy, I guess there wasn't anything else to do but what he did. Well, you know, Lyndon could have really hit me if he would. Well, Lyndon's the kind of person that doesn't want to help anyone. He's all for Lyndon, and that's the way he's pretty much always been. Well, they had me backed up on that Henry Marshall killing, and they just kind of blackmailed me to keep my mouth shut. And if I hadn't had a bunch of tapes that I played after he got killed, because, 17 got killed in this situation very mysteriously. And I've done a lot of time, and I've lost a lot of money, and hurt my family a whole lot. And it's really got me disgusted with Lyndon in one way. In one way, I feel real sorry.
That's wild. I've never heard that. Never heard that at all. Alex Jones?
Do you want to see it?
Yeah.
I can play some of his show here if you guys want to see it. He released this all yesterday. Let me pull it up here. Yeah, dude. He and okay, now before we go on, I just want to analyze that little bit of audio. Is it possible that this is a staged conversation? Now, I'm not saying like edited today or anything like that. I'm saying when it was made, was there someone with a gun to the head saying, I want you to say this? Because that guy goes on for like a minute and a half, just rambling about how Johnson hired Mac to go kill Kennedy, and he's a true blue Democrat. And you want to listen to it again?
Yeah.
Get a feel for it. All right, let's listen to it again.
You're good to see you. How's life treating you today? Well, Saul, it's been a pretty touch and go situation. Lyndon and I have had quite a few unpleasant.
Now, I believe this is like 67, 68, quite a few years after Kennedy was assassinated, but still while Johnson's in office.
Words here lately over the deal with that he hired Mike Wallace to assassinate the president. It's been hectic in every way, but we've lived through it this far. I guess we'll continue to do so. Lyndon should have never issued that order to Mike. But we've had our...
Did you hear a page turn there?
Yeah.
I'm going to play it again.
But we've had our differences, and I'm true blue to Lyndon as I walk to Mike. had our differences and but we've had our
Interesting.
That's turning pages.
We've had our differences and I'm true blue to Lyndon as I've always been and tried to carry out every order that he'd ever given me. But this is one I'll probably never be able to forget. And the times that we've had in Texas and the embarrassment that Lyndon had gotten from Kennedy, I guess there wasn't anything else to do but what he did.
Heard it again. I heard the pages turn again.
Well, you know, but what he did. Well, you know, Lyndon could have really hit me if he would. Well, Lyndon's the kind of person that doesn't want to help anyone. He's all for Lyndon, and that's the way he's pretty much always been. Well, they had me backed up on that Henry Marshall killing, and they just kind of blackmailed me to keep my mouth shut. And if I hadn't had a bunch of tapes that I played after he got killed, because, 17 got killed in this situation very mysteriously.
I don't understand what that means.
Yeah.
17. I did look up it just the book of knowledge here, the Google search of Henry Marshall that they bring up.
Mm-hmm.
In 1961. Here, I'll read the thing here. Austin, Texas, a government official who died 24 years ago was a victim of murder, not suicide. This is 1985. This is written here. Let's see here. When he died, Marshall was investigating the convoluted business dealings of Texas swindler Billy Sol Estes, who was later convicted and served a federal prison term for fraud. Estes, 60, was arrested Tuesday in Abilene, Texas. Estes built a paper empire associated in the 1960s with politically powerful. I'm trying to find. They said it was a suicide, but he had like 5 gunshots wounds in his.
Damn.
Yeah, it was like. And then the investigation was just closed down. Yeah, and he was investigating. So we could play a little of that. You got time tonight?
Yeah.
You sitting good? All right. Let me see here. Pull up this InfoWars. Couple of things before we go into just believe in Alex Jones for everything he's got, because Alex Jones very well could have been compromised. Listen, there's a lot of weird stuff going on right now with the truth tellers in American media, and I'm not talking like television media. I'm talking like the Sean Ryans, which we talked about last week.
Yeah.
And this with Alex Jones, I find very unique, because for people who don't pay attention to the internet, X rules politics right now. It's just an unfortunate fact. And Elon Musk 2 or 3 days ago mentioned something. He's asking what he was missing about American politics. And Ian Carroll, a guy just like us, started his own channel.
Yeah.
Posted on there that in 1963, John F. Kennedy threatened to turn AIPAC, which is the Israeli lobbyist firm that works on American government officials, lobbies them, was going to file them as a foreign lobbying.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
And shortly thereafter, he was murdered by Lyndon B. Johnson, who, I've also got a clip, had very interesting ties to AIPAC. And he asked that how come today however many years later, 80 years later, 60 or 90% of Congress has their own individual APEC handler.
What?
You didn't know this?
No.
90% of members in Congress have their own individual APEC handler.
Interesting.
Matt Gaetz talked about this. He said he'd be trying to do legislative deals, and they'd be like, "Oh no, this sounds great. Yeah, no, let me just talk to my APEC guy real quick, make sure it's all okay." Matt, or maybe it was Massey that talked about this, but Massey, after he talked about it, it was Massey. I think Gaetz, I can't remember, but Massey said something about it, and then his wife ended up dead. Remember that in the car accident?
Yep.
Yeah. So there's that. So, and this is all based around, the Kennedy assassination.
How come the Kennedy? How come this just went so hot topic right now?
Well, and isn't that interesting? Because then the next day, all of a sudden, we get this audio clip putting all the blame on Lyndon B. Johnson.
Yeah.
Now, the next day, and the reason why that the question to Elon was such a big deal is like Elon's tweet received like 10,000 likes, and Ian Carroll's got like 400,000.
Yeah.
It was like 40 times or whatever it was, something ridiculous. So, and then the next day, we get this little tidbit from InfoWars.
You're good to see you. How's life treating you today?
This is if they got away with this in the 60s.
This is the guy that gave Alex the tape. So, and he's going to explain his connection to these.
It's plain as day, these two talking very openly about who was involved in the assassination of JFK.
Sure good to see you. How's life treating you today? Well, Saul, it's been pretty touch-and-go situation.
Move up here. No, Alex, we're not gonna buy your hat. Let's see here.
You don't want a free hat?
That we're going to be playing in full. It's about 7 minutes long.
Look at him.
Next hour. But
right.
Wow.
First, talking to one of the gentlemen on the tape's grandson, we'll give you the big picture. If you're not from Texas or haven't been covering this for 30 years, why it's so important. But with all these big world events happening, why are we covering the JFK assassination where the vast majority of Americans in polls say more than one shooter of the government killed Kennedy? And you got a lot of players there on the ground. But we now know from E. Howard and Hunt and others, it was LBJ. And Nixon even told Roger Stone, they were close confidants, especially after he left the White House, I mean, good buddies, that, it was LBJ killed Kennedy. And that information has come out as well. But you can look at 1913 with the private Federal Reserve getting a coup over our financial system. 1947, the National Security Act, the CIA and NSA being able to operate basically above the law with no oversight or very little. Then you have 63 when the real physical coup happens. And so understanding this and what happened in Dallas in 1963 is critical to know where we are today. And now Trump's about to declassify it all. We have the deep state and literally some of the grandkids of these people that are still running the government and running the national anything about this, because a lot of listeners know all about it. But the tape itself is just incredible. Of course, it is your grandfather and it is LBJ's right-hand man, and both men are obviously very close to LBJ. That's not debated. And then you hear them, obviously, from my opinion, they both know they're taping it, and they talk about the 17 deaths of people they knew because LBJ was covering up. And I know the history. It wasn't just the 17 they knew. It was hundreds of people got killed that knew anything about it, including witnesses at the grassy knoll and more. So this is a real time capsule into the early 1970s, right before your grandfather died. And obviously, from what I've looked into, you're the expert. It looks, who knows what happened there. But this obviously looks like insurance to me. I mean, they're saying it's insurance tapes. And then this gets passed on. And then now in the year 2025, on January 14th, 2025, it's about to premiere. So Shane Stevens, who I, by the way, have good personal friends that have been longtime friends with him, great Texas family, good people. Shane Stevens is a grandson of the infamous Billy Saul Estes, and his explosive never before heard tape.
Ooh, he didn't like that. Did you see his reaction to him having his grandpappy called the infamous?
What about all that paper on his desk? Jesus Christ, get organized, Alex.
I love Alex. He does that to make himself look like he is.
He's just deep into the weeds.
Do what you do.
Reporting that LB.
Oh, dude, he really didn't like that. He really didn't like. You see him square his jaw up.
Jay's involvement in JFK assassination. These recordings capture a conversation between.
Oh, he bit his lip even, dude. You got to rewatch this. Rewatch this
because LBJ was covering up, and then
watch this guy's facial reactions to being his grandpappy being called.
And I know the history. It wasn't just the 17 they knew. It was hundreds of people got killed that knew anything about it, including witnesses at the grassy knoll and more. So this is a real time capsule into the early 1970s, right before your grandfather died. And obviously, from what I've looked into, you're the expert. It looks, who knows what happened there. But this obviously looks like insurance to me. I mean, they're saying it's insurance tapes. And then this gets passed on. And then now in the year 2025, on January 14th, 2025, it's about to premiere. So Shane Stevens, who I, by the way, have good personal friends that have been longtime friends with him, great Texas family, good people. Shane Stevens is a grandson of the infamous Billy Saul Estes, and his explosive never before heard tape reporting that LBJ's involvement in JFK assassination. These recordings capture a conversation between Billy Saul.
Dude.
Oh, yeah.
It pissed him off. Ah, good old Alex Jones.
Estes and Clifton C. Carter.
You can see right there, he was debating, why did I give this to Alex Jones?
Yeah.
I could have given it to Tucker.
Yeah.
A close LBJ associate, basically his private bag man or private business manager, an associate, and former executive director of the DNC. That's another little point. Now, the former head of the DNC, implicating Mac Wallace in the plot. And that was well known, one of his main hitmen. Professionally, Shane co-founded Dental Health Management Solutions with his wife, Jennifer, provide mobile dental care for underserved populations. His work is inspired by years managing assisted living and Alzheimer's care centers. An active community leader, Shane serves as a deacon at the Austin Baptist Church that supports causes like.
Thanks for being on the front lines and fighting this battle and just pushing this out. They're ultimately still there in some way, shape, or form, in some capacity. And so at this point, all I've done is share this tape with a few people. In fact, a lot of the people that are fighting the hardest for our country have heard this tape. They've listened to it. Thanks for being on the front lines and fighting this battle and just pushing this out to the American public. We've had this tape for, I'd say, 8-9 years, something along those lines. And passed it around to some of the leaders. As Alex mentioned a while ago, the biggest implication of this is if they got away with this in the 60s, if they killed a president, covered it up across multiple agencies, then where are those people? How did they do it? They're ultimately still there in some way, shape, or form, in some capacity. And so at this point, all I've done is share this tape with a few people. In fact, a lot of the people that are fighting the hardest for our country have heard this tape. They've
Is it not the driver that shot him? So who's Mac? How did he shoot him? Remember the stories that came out that said that he got.
Yeah, no, it doesn't give any context when it comes to any of that. It's just them. So they're saying this is like a pre-rehearsed recording where they name off all of the people Lyndon B. whacked and are using this tape as insurance.
17 people.
Yeah, in the 8 minutes. So we only heard like a minute and a half of that. They
Yeah.
named like 17 people he whacked.
What did he stand to gain? I guess I've never really.
Presidency?
Well, yeah, I get that, but what else, to get to be the president, what did he push that set the future for America going forward?
So Bobby Kennedy was investigating his business dealings in Texas and finding out that they were doing all sorts of illegal stuff, including that murder that was covered up in 1961 of Henry Marshall. That's the trigger point for LBJ, is that he don't want to go to prison, supposedly. And so he hires this Mac Miller guy to assassinate him, and then we don't know how it was done.
Yeah.
And we don't know too, like Lyndon B. Johnson, big Texas guy. I mean, Bush Sr. is the huge financer in Texas. You're telling me there's no connection between the Bush family and LBJ? No, there is.
Yeah, huge one.
So was it the Bush family that did the cover-up, or which would become the CIA?
Oh yeah.
I
So
don't
the
know.
CIA got okay.
So maybe the CIA is just the cover-up. They get rid of Oswald. They get to clear up a few of their loose ends.
Makes sense.
I mean, think about. It's just crazy, dude. The implications of this. They're going to have to change the history books.
Yeah. That's why I don't think it's ever going to come out.
Really?
It's all just going to stay here. Yeah, because they're not going to do that. What do they gain from that? What gets gained from it coming out?
Oh, Lobo fish. We're throwing the link here in the comment section if anyone wants to call in, including Lobo himself, the esteemed Lobo. Nice to have you on the show, buddy. Yeah. Oh, dude, it feels just a little all too clean to me.
Yeah. And we know the government doesn't do anything clean.
No, they're sloppy, and I don't know. I mean, either way, it's just sort of interesting. So this, you can go on Twitter and watch the rest of this if you want to. On Alex Jones' show, but Alex Jones always breaking the interesting stuff. Here's some stuff I found about LBJ, because I figure if LBJ is this guy, let's see what they have to say about
Oswald, groomed as a pro-Castro communist, the Dallas shooting was staged as a false flag attack to be blamed on Cuba, according to the CIA theory. But then, why did no invasion of Cuba follow Kennedy's assassination? It is because Johnson, we are told, thwarted the plot's ultimate aim to start World War III. This is to ignore the tremendous amount of evidence accumulated against Johnson. In fact, I believe the CIA thesis was originally pushed forward to counter the more natural and more popular thesis of a conspiracy headed by Johnson with Hoover's complicity. Another weakness in the CIA theory is the fact that researchers following this lead seem unable to come to any agreement about the mastermind of the plot. In fact, one of the names that come up most often is James Jesus Angleton, the head of counterintelligence within the CIA. Professor John Newman writes about him in Oswald and the CIA, quote, "No one else in the agency had the access, the authority, and the diabolically ingenious mind to manage this sophisticated plot." But, as a matter of fact, Angleton was also the Mossad liaison for the CIA, as head of the CIA's Israel office.
So he's the head Mossad liaison. So him and Mossad are close buddies.
And he is widely recognized as having been an Israeli mole. One of his biographers.
Now remember, Israel at this time is just sort of dipping their feet into the whole spy game. They're going to Argentina, capturing people and bringing them back to Israel. They're doing fun stuff.
Yeah.
Going to different countries and blowing shit up. It's just, I love watching them grow up. You know, it's sort of fun. It's just like it's so cute. You know, at some point they're just, you know, a little baby nation fighting amongst their neighbors, and then all of a sudden they're doing assassinations in your country. It's beautiful.
Photographer Tom Mangold states Angleton's closest professional friends overseas came from the Mossad, and he was held in immense esteem by his Israeli colleagues and by the State of Israel, which was to award him profound honors after his death. Moreover, it has been revealed by reporter Joe Trento of the Sunday News Journal that it was Angleton himself who, in the 70s, played a key role in keeping the CIA under scrutiny by leaking to the press a secret memo he had written himself about the embarrassing presence of CIA agent Howard Hunt in Dallas on November 22, 1963.
There's some interesting little tidbits you can find retweeted on Phantom Society. I mean, it's just I feel like we got to figure out who LBJ was now.
Yeah.
If he really had and this I gotta play this one because I watched History Channel religiously. I don't ever remember them talking about LBJ this way, but supposedly
As attorney for Lyndon Johnson, that he murdered John Kennedy. He murdered John Kennedy to become president and to avoid prison, and there is no doubt in my mind, I know beyond a reasonable doubt, that Johnson murdered Kennedy. He acted through Clark. He saw that it was done, and he did it out of a corruption of power that is unequaled in our history.
A broken man, he retreated to his Texas ranch, where his lawyers were to secretly summon a psychiatrist to deal with his deepening depression.
An immediate concern at the law firm was that he would say too much. The $1 million was available to the psychiatrist to keep anything from coming out. The one reason for all these protections was the greatest demon that was dogging Johnson at the time, and that was the assassination of John Kennedy and the role he played in it.
you remember that on History Channel?
No. But how is he just freely talking about it? I mean, I thought a lawyer had, you know.
Does client attorney privilege disappear after the guy's dead?
I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, but why Kennedy pick Johnson then? If is it keep your enemies closer kind of thing? Like
that's what I heard, because they had a very heated primary, and supposedly Kennedy, and I tried to find clips of the debates, but supposedly he insulted Kennedy or Johnson. Kennedy insulted Johnson. Johnson took affront to something Kennedy said to him, and everyone was shocked when then Kennedy turned around and asked for him to be his VP. But they needed the oil and Texas vote.
Oh, okay.
You know, Kennedy was going to bring Florida and Illinois, and they needed Texas. And that's where LBJ came in. And so LBJ, I'm sure, got into the White House after helping Kennedy get in there. And there was some animosity there because Kennedy was very dismissive of him. He didn't, sort of reminded me of how Obama felt about Biden.
Oh, yeah.
You know, just like you had to have him, but you didn't want him.
No. You wanted Big Mike, but that couldn't work. So you took Biden, poopy pants Biden.
Yes. Oh, hey, we got Lobo Fish joining the show. Lobo, welcome aboard, bud. Long time no chat. How you been, buddy? Can you hear us? Can you hear us, Lobo?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yeah,
we got you.
Loud and clear. What do you what do you think about all this JFK talk?
You know, JFK, I had no idea what was going on with that until that podcast that Rob Reiner did. It came up on my feed, and I listened to that, and it was just, this is Rob Reiner, the producer, the holiday
probably the only person that could do a podcast slightly better than us. So I mean, I'll give it to you.
Yeah, it was pretty highly produced, but anyways, it opened my eyes to that, and then I asked my father-in-law, who was lived through that, and I said, "Do you know anything was up with this JFK assassination?" And he said, "No." And I said, "What did they tell you about it?" He's like, "Well, he just got shot." And I guess if you're only getting your news from 3 places, it's just like easy to get away with this stuff.
Well, and then I forget. I mean, it was so inbred. Like the Warren Commission was appointed to confirm that it was Oswald that killed. Like, if you read in the intro, it's like our job is to confirm what the storyline is. So that's what we're gonna do.
Yeah. Well, because they had it. There was no need to go outside of it. It was that we had the target. Let's easily paint him. There's no reason to throw any kind of other speculation to the wind, because obviously Oswald was on the agenda to getting taken care of anyways. So 2 birds, 1 stone.
Yeah.
Yeah, that opened my. I think it was in that podcast that they had that statement from Oswald when he was told to go to that theater after something big happened, and and he saw something big happen at the parade, and when he got to the theater, no one else was in there but one other person that left, and at that point he knew he'd been set up or something like that.
Yeah. Well, and we'd covered that he had been he went to 2 centers, one in Florida and one in Mississippi, I believe, where Prescott Bush had given a boat to Senior. It was his first job, and Senior in the 60s had this oil boat that would go from Texas to Venezuela. But what they were doing is they were picking up Cuba dissidents on the way back and then dropping them off at these training camps and training them how to overthrow Castro. And then they were bringing them back to dropping them off on Cuba. And they were using Bush Senior's ship as the ferry, essentially. And Oswald went into those camps and participated. And then 2 weeks after he left, the FBI came in and shut those down. And so we always thought, that, why not get rid of the guy that's fucking with you, fucking with your operation? You put it all on him. And you can see when they're transporting him, he's genuinely confused. He's like, I didn't kill anybody. I'm still waiting for my right to call a lawyer. And there's a great series on YouTube right now that you can go and watch. And it's all about the 2 phone calls Oswald made in prison. And there was a lady that was working the night shift, and they have to write down back then, because they had to like plug in the line and connect it. And so all of that was documented. And both of the calls he made were to Virginia, somewhere in Virginia, and there was no answer. There was no answer to the first one, and on the second one, they were someone came in and said, "Do not place that call." And so she just let it ring, and then they.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's all well documented by this. It's like this historian that has the cards and everything, goes around and gives lectures at these universities. Just absolutely crazy. Like, you're telling me LBJ thought of all of that?
There's no way.
Yeah, I'm interested that you guys brought this up. I'll have to look into. I did see a couple tweets that show some connecting dots between LBJ. So I'll be interested to see what's up with that and the Bushes.
Yeah. Well, Prescott Bush was financing the Nazi party until Truman threatened to shut him down for treason. And
Wow.
only then, and I think it was like 1944 is when he finally stopped financing the German side of the war. And then
Wow.
and then they started that oil business, and George Senior got it, and then, of course they, Senior was also in the OSS, in World War II. So the origin story of the Secret Service CIA back when it was
Oh wow.
back when it was strictly military.
And then you bring them over to do NASA, and you just got a trifecta of awesomeness.
It worked out really well. And we got a cat intruder here.
Oh no.
Did you the thing that helped corroborate that this whole thing was I think the government, well, of course, before I'm going to listen to what you guys have to say, but there was also this Chauncey Marvin Holt. He was a CIA agent that was just kind of, it showed how they had everybody just had little bits of knowledge, like nobody knew the full story, and he was told to make like 20 ATF IDs, and he was in California, and he was supposed to get them to Texas that day, and he brought them to Texas, handed it to some person, and then when the shooting happened, he had to lay low in like a boxcar, and then the police ended up finding him, and they all kind of played along with each other. They were all kind of there with some sort of assignment, but none of them could tell each other what the heck they were doing.
Did
It's
you see
crazy.
anything?
Yeah, they were all just kind of playing along, like I know I'm not supposed to mess with you, but this don't make sense. And yeah, they found
The
him
ATF thing would be interesting. You bring them in for the
Yeah,
that would be
he
just
said
another
that-
piece to bring in.
Yeah, this Chauncey Marvin Holt, he's got a documentary on YouTube too. He was told to bring 20 fake ATF badges to Dallas and hand them to somebody. And he was a pilot and flew in that morning, did it, got stuck in a box car, kind of just said, I don't know anything. And they all just kind of left. I think they were all just knew something was up, but none of them could, and he didn't even put it together right away until later that he was part of all this.
I mean, it makes sense. You create 20 badges, you keep it in-house to the circle that you only want, and then because all those departments are going to have some little player, piece into this investigation of Kennedy getting murdered. So it makes sense.
I mean, did we have a Texas coup? I mean, that's essentially what happened, if I am understanding it correctly. All the Texans got together and killed Kennedy?
Man.
Because they didn't want to go to space, or what? They didn't believe in the moon? Where's Devin? they didn't want to go to the moon? I don't understand it.
I don't get it. Why, they hate Catholics that much?
Yeah.
Well, there's one thing that makes me always feel a little bit better, and that is our emergency service.
You want to see somebody that responds to your house, your emergency, whether it's a medical call or a fire call, that looks like you. It gives that person a little bit more ease, knowing that somebody might understand their situation better. Is she strong enough to do this? Or you couldn't carry my husband out of a fire, which my response is, he got himself in the wrong place if I have to carry him out of a fire.
Do your fucking job and carry me out of the fire.
What's happened?
That lady.
What happened? I remember as a kid all the stories, I mean, did they have TV shows? What was a fire, Chicago Fire? And every single one of those stories, you're carrying someone out. Can you imagine going in there, little 6-year-old girl? Well, you shouldn't have gotten yourself in here.
Yeah.
Some spiteful smacking the shit out of her.
Not strong enough to carry a 6-year-old out. Just come on, help me walk.
Got to roll her over off the window.
Yeah.
Somebody catch her. Oh,
wasn't it Whitney Cummings that just said that they all have like the same first name too? The fire chief, the mayor, and someone else. They're all like Karen or Sarah or something like.
like that.
She's like, not in a million years. What is this? The new Tinder? You hire just a whole bunch of lesbian firefighters so you could just date in your own workplace. You know?
Just a
Right?
scissor fest.
Yeah.
This fire station smells like tuna.
This is
Yeah, the
ladder
odds.
69 in here. What are we doing?
Yeah, the odds of LA getting a fire chief and a mayor that are aligned like that are just astronomical, other than they're just, pointing at each other and says, you're going to be the mayor, you're going to be the fire chief today. Like it's just some sort of title they got. Man, if I was having the worst day of my life and you need the fire department, that's usually when you see the fire department on your worst day, and that lady showed up, I'd have just said, "Oh, it's over for me, buddy.
Yep.
It's over."
How
Let me
my children, I love them.
take a deep breath and enjoy this burn real quick.
One last puff. Oh, speaking of puff, Republicans are once again talking about looking out for us. Really, is what they're doing. I think this is Virginia Governor Youngkin or Senator. I can't remember, but just really looking out for everyone here.
Strong communities also work to prevent harmful drug use. The dangers of marijuana use, particularly among our young people, continue to grow. We know.
Loving the guy's face on the bottom right. Really? Never heard this.
No.
Never heard this. This lady in the back in the blue, she's already stoned.
Mm-hmm.
She don't know what you're talking about. Lady on
The
the
guy
bottom.
in the Bill Nye bow tie's like, dude, we shoved edibles in our butt before this. What are we talking about?
That states with retail markets have seen significant negative impacts on.
His voice broke.
Mm-hmm.
His voice, did you hear it break?
Negative impacts on children and adolescent health. Significant negative impacts on children and adolescent health and safety. Increased gang activity and violent crime.
Oh.
Yep, perking up here, gang and crime.
Deterioration in mental health, decreased road safety, and significant costs.
Is everyone driving too slow now? Is that the problem?
Associated with a marijuana retail market that far exceed the perverse benefit of tax revenue. Now, everyone knows where I stand on establishing a retail marijuana market. Let's work together on other issues where we can find common ground.
All right, well, I guess it's not looking too good for Virginia over there. Although it is legal to consume and carry, you just can't recreationally purchase it. So God forbid you help out local businesses there. What do you think, Lobo? Do you think weed is a sin to run away from mankind?
I when I was growing up, my parents used to talk talk down about it, but now that I'm older, it's as harmless as anything, or it can be as harmful or harmless as anything. So I don't mind just like you said, sell it and give people what they want, and make revenue, make business. I'm a supporter of it.
What are we doing having this conversation in politics? What a weird thing to be hearing in 2025.
Yeah. That's just the stigma around it. I mean, you got athletes, you got all these people coming out and being like, listen, this marijuana has way more benefits than it does with the pills and with the shots and with everything else. Like, come off your fucking front lawn and relax. It's just they can't make money off of it. That's what it all comes down to. Like, they can't control it to the nearest cent, so it's not beneficial to them. So
It's just, you know what? We need something to make us feel better.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, shit my pants.
He's playing. He's playing. He's playing.
And I cannot believe that he even got whatever votes he got 4 years ago. That just blows me away.
You notice how she didn't break stride for him?
No.
Like,
I think she's over his shit already too. She's like, this is horse shit. I'm tired of wiping up after you.
5 more days, Joe. Come on, let's go.
He's like,
he's playing. Yeah, no, he's playing.
close your mouth. A fly's gonna get in it. Some sand. Oh, Jill, I just run in front of him, just kick sand in his face.
I was listening to a hospice nurse has a YouTube channel, and that she says that people's mouths start to do that close to death. They just kind of gape open for some reason. You know,
Is there an
I'm not saying.
Is there an
I
over?
don't know.
Yeah,
It's closer than we probably realize with him. Probably.
Does he make it till Trump third term?
He probably dies at the inauguration, and then they pause the presidency somehow, and Kamala takes over.
Exciting news! You remember that guest we had on that was had been trafficked at a very young age.
Oh yeah.
She just got an invite to the inauguration on the 20th.
Really?
Yeah. So shout out to her. That's great. A little jealous. All right, I'm a little jealous. I'm a little jealous. We're over here in the front lines, fighting truth. You know, getting interviews no one else wants to pick up. But that's okay. We don't need an invite. No, it's fine. Couldn't make it anyway. Really.
Busy.
You had to work. Like normal. That's all right. Let's see here. I got a couple just like little fun clips here, but this math trick. So let's go.
I mean, never in my wildest. He would come up with that too,
Is that the abacus method? With those beads we all had in our classrooms in the 80s.
Maybe that's what that was. Yeah, maybe that's what that was. This whole how easy is that? How easy is that?
Except when you get to times 37, and you're over there drawing 37 lines.
Yes. That would be
counting.
Just in a corner somewhere. I got it, guys. Give me a second. You playing tic-tac-toe over there, Corey? What's going on?
So Corey,
by a little Asian girl in the back gets it done in like 10 seconds. You're over there still dropping out your map, dotting your dots.
Yeah, I could smoke anybody just using whatever that method was, man, with just a pencil.
You just give me a calculator and I'll do it all day long. What were you going to say, Lobo?
I was going to tell you I appreciated you guys sharing those videos last week, but the one I remember was that crazy body cam from the Russian soldier.
Oh yeah,
and that shook me up. You got to remember, that humans don't die. they don't die easy. And
No.
it just, that was, I showed my son that he had seen it before. He's more on TikTok than I am, but it's just, you got to remember when you go, these guys that are fighting hand to hand, I mean, you're both about to die. It's just one is not going to quite die.
And that's what we were talking about. It's there's no win, there's no pause. Like, hey, good job. Okay, I've had enough. It is the last breath. That's when it's over. That's it was just to the point where telling his mom goodbye and all that. It's just like, gosh, dang it, like that's how it is. I mean, that's
Yeah,
the
you
ugly
take
side of it.
a healthy 20 to 30-year-old man, and that's about the hardest thing on this planet to kill, and you're going to go try to do it by hand, and it just the reality of that, no one really grasped that reality. It's just like, so that was it was sad. It shook me up, but it was something we all need to see.
I thought so too. Like, I debated a long time whether to like show it or not, because everyone that watched it that I work with, all same reaction. It's just not, and it's not meant to be a pleasant thing, But at the same time, like when people are talking in these generic terms, like, yeah, we should just send them over to Ukraine and kick their ass and da 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 da. And it's like, this is what kicking their ass looks like. Is one of your buddies getting killed like this? That's what it. So make sure it's worth it. Make sure the battle is worth it, because if that guy dies, which that Ukrainian guy died because of a war some other government started for him and convinced him that he needed to fight in that war, and now he's dead. And that's the end of it. And that's happened to like 1.5 million Ukrainians and Russians out there. Almost 2 million people, probably more, have died just like that, and so it's like, and we just sent another 400, another 400 million billion over there
dollars
like last week, just in rockets and stuff that we're guiding over. And I mean, it's just absolutely insane. And like, I get sometimes wars have to be fought, but let's say, if those guys fought that war knowing that it was just going to be solely Ukrainians versus Russians, they never would have started it. They never would have started it, because they know it would have been better to be neighbors. But they knew,
like you said, they speak the same language. Like,
yeah,
it's
as close to a civil war as we'll ever see. Ukraine's 30 years old. It's not old, it's the language is like 20 years old. They just made up a language that sounds Russian, and like, hey, they were under the Soviet rule, it's their little prize for getting out of that nightmare in the early 90s, but they're the ones that agreed to give up their nukes to NATO. They agreed to that. Their politicians put their people in that, it's just, and this is the result of that. What happened back in 91, now some kid is getting, hand to hand. I mean, that part where they're just biting each other,
Oh my God.
I remember hearing stories in History Channel, World War II, those guys would talk about like grabbing a rock and having to kill the guy, and it's different, and I feel equally as bad for the guy that lived, because that guy's now being paraded around as Russia as some hero. They know his name and they're, parading him around, and like, that guy's got to live with the same. It's no joy to him either. He's not thrilled about it either. None of it's good. Yeah, no, it's all. Speaking of people getting killed, you want to hear a Masonic mystery? All right.
Yeah.
Was Mozart killed by the Masons?
Ooh, I think I saw this on X.
I've never heard about this. You
I
might have.
haven't either.
Inside the Music. I'm Brian Lauritsen. The Magic Flute is not only an opera that tells the story of love and trials, there's also a deeper meaning. Mozart intended the work to be a dramatic representation of a person's initiation into Freemasonry. And to learn more about it, I went to the Masonic Center in Santa Monica and spoke with former Grand Master of Masons in California, Stephen Doan.
This is known as Mozart's Masonic opera, written in the last year of his life. And he did something that he knew his Masonic brothers would attend, and that non-Masons would come out of curiosity for what the Masons were about. And he thinly disguised a Masonic initiation ceremony in this opera. So as part of the Masonic initiation ceremony at the time, the candidate goes through these 4 elemental tests: earth, water, air, fire, to prove to the brethren that they have the right balance of these 4. And of course, we see these in the second act of the opera. Tamino's going through the initiatic process. And the first 2 are earth and air. And then he does fire and water subsequently.
So this opera is called The Magic Flute. I imagine there's quite a bit to.
Isn't it interesting? Like Paul Walker made the Skull and Bones and died a few years later. Mozart does his version of that and dies a year later. Who was the other guy that did? Oh, we were just talking about it. Eyes Wide Shut. The director for that, Stanley Kubrick, died after that. Oh, man. Yeah. One of those things. Can we get a little Ben Shapiro hate in before we call it a night?
Yep.
So.
Yep.
If you don't know, I have for Ben Shapiro, not because he is not because of that, just
A
because.
Jew?
No,
Oh.
no. I didn't say that. I'm just saying that he tends to be a bit of the, Israel first, America second group. I guess you could say. Is that wrong for me to say that? I don't know. All right. Well, here's him and Louis Farrakhan. You guys know who Louis Farrakhan is?
Yeah,
the name sounds familiar.
He was the spiritual advisor to Obama.
Oh.
Remember everyone threw a fit about that? I remember Rush Limbaugh always, Farrakhan.
And we have seen a tremendous amount of vaccine hesitancy, unfortunately, in the Black and Hispanic community.
If they come up with a vaccine, be careful.
Yes, sir.
Don't let them vaccinate you with their history of treachery through vaccines.
Okay, Black America, only 67% of Black Americans say they definitely will get the vaccine or probably get the vaccine. So the Black community has tremendous vaccine hesitancy. Okay, that is a real problem.
I wonder why.
Why is it a problem?
Good old Ben. He was right on the nose on that one in 2020, wasn't he? Really hit it on the nose.
Yeah.
Well done, Ben Shapiro. All right. Well, you guys got anything you want to do? Shout out before we call it a night.
No, you want to talk about your the interview you did a little bit?
The turning?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I guess I thought it was interesting, but it just sort of seems like, in my mind, I'm like now curious. Could you find like cyclical repetition in other aspects? So, like, let's take this example of Mozart getting killed by the Freemasons. Like, could we find a thing where there have to be some sort of sacrifice that takes place every so many years between, an artist and a You know, like Marilyn Monroe compared to Brittany Murphy, compared to Paul Walker, compared to, you know what I mean? Like, could we?
The circle that keeps going.
Yeah, and like at the same time, like I feel like some people treat this whole turning as, you know, the 4 turnings as like some sort of prophetic. You know, like, oh, you can, you know, in 20 years it'll be good times. You know, I I don't know. I don't like. I see the benefit of it, but I don't know. I didn't know what to make of it. What was your thoughts on it?
No, I was the same way. It was just another, just wait, it'll come back around. Like that's everything. Everyone's, it seems like, always answers. Oh, hey, there's the highs and lows. You just, if we get through this, and in 20 years it's going to be the same shit like we've talked about a million times. The circle never, it breaks. It just
Hey.
repeats and repeats.
Oh my God, May, are we going to have to play positivity thinking again?
I love myself. I love myself. I love myself. No, I'm just saying, like, why wait 20 years? I mean, the playbook is old and dusty. Like, it's just, like you said, it just rotates different characters, like some
Yeah,
pop more than others.
I do, and I think like, but there can be good times brought about by people, and there can be bad times brought about by negligent
Exactly.
people. You know, like in that, and that's where it comes down to. Yeah, it comes down to each of us. You know, I feel like it's a bit too passive to just observe it, and I find it odd that the politicians of the '90s all loved this stuff. You know, the fact that he passed it around to every single politician in Congress, and Al Gore was out there thumping on it. It's just why did they fall so in love with this?
Those are the same people still in office today. I mean, what?
Well, and you know, 2019 was the first year. Sorry, I had a Hillary moment. 2019 was the first year that millennials now outnumber the boomers. And we have higher numbers than any other generation, you know, going forward for now. So we're the next ruling party is the millennials. And so it'll be interesting to see how you know, how it works. I'm not confident, you know, like JD Vance is a bit of a warmonger. Pete Hegseth, I mean, you know, the Pete Hegseth, let me find this clip here of him talking about Zionism. I'm like, stuff like this worries me. When this is going to be, I forget what position he is.
Secretary of Defense, right?
Secretary of Defense, and this is our secretary.
That wants to take the stage and talk about dual loyalty is dead wrong. What this organization represents, what Western civilization represents today, is an understanding that Zionism and Americanism are the front lines of Western civilization and freedom in our world today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Stuff like that. Stuff like that is like, oh, we're just never going to get out of Israel. That's just going to be a thing, isn't it?
Get comfortable.
Well, at least that Pete has he's been in combat and dragged some dead bodies out of stuff, so maybe that'll change. But I can't speak to the getting into Israel stuff. Probably.
Look at McCain though. Like McCain was a prisoner of war in Vietnam and came back and became the biggest warmonger in American history. Like, how could he do that? You know,
weren't his pockets lined?
Well, of course they were lined, but but still, like you would think someone who spent time in a cell where you couldn't sleep or stand, or lay down, for 24 hours on end would think twice before just starting wars everywhere.
Maybe that was the niche that we were in.
Well,
fight, save, make money.
I'm glad you.
Play to your audience.
Look at this clip by former General Wesley, because that's exactly. I mean, it's essentially what he said about this is like during Desert Storm. They're talking about this.
About 10 days after 9/11, I went through the Pentagon and I saw Secretary Rumsfeld and
my apologies. Right after 9/11.
And Deputy Secretary Wolfowitz. I went downstairs just to say hello to some of the people on the Joint Staff who had used to work for me. And one of the generals called me and he said, "Sir, you got to come in. You got to come in and talk to me a second." I said, "Well, you're too busy." He said, "No." He says, "We've made the decision. We're going to war with Iraq." This was on or about the 20th of September.
So 9 days after 9/11, this guy gets informed that we're going to war with Iraq. 9 days. It took him 3 days to tell us Osama bin Laden did it. Maybe 4.
I said, "We're going to war with Iraq. Why?" He said, "I don't know." He said, "I guess they don't know what else to do." So I said, "Well, did they find some information connecting Saddam to Al-Qaeda?" He said, No. He says, "There's nothing new that way. They just made the decision to go to war with Iraq." He said, "I guess it's like we don't know what to do about terrorists, but we've got a good military and we can take down governments." And he said, "I guess if the only tool you have is a hammer, every problem has to look like a nail." So I came back to see him a few weeks later, and by that time we were bombing in Afghanistan. I said, "Are we still going to war with Iraq?" And he said, "Oh, it's worse than that." He reached over on his desk, he picked up a piece of paper, and he said, I just got this down from upstairs," meaning the Secretary of Defense's office today, and he said, "This is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran."
I mean, you can't stop when you're mid-punch. I mean, you're already in.
The truth is about the Middle East is, had there been no oil there, it would be like Africa. Nobody is threatening to intervene in Africa.
I thought that part was just crazy though, when he's like, "Oh no, we're gonna take out 7 countries." Oh, my bad there. I knocked out you.
No oil there.
That's an interesting way to think of it.
So they had this planned 2011.
If not before. I mean, they knew that they had something we wanted and wanted to control. And, like you said, we had the hammer. We had nothing to do with it. It was sitting pat. We needed an excuse to stretch our legs, and we made our own excuse, and we ran fake planes into some buildings, and there we go. We're off to executing hammer and nail.
So, I mean, that is the land of unconfirmed. Yes, we came, we saw, he died.
That was Libya when they killed Gaddafi. Do you see how she can't contain her happiness? She got to kill somebody again.
So, I mean, that is the land of unconfirmed. Yes, we came, we saw, he died.
She probably came like 4 times.
She looks like she's having an orgasm. That's true.
No, you're.
So, I mean, that is the land of unconfirmed. Yes, we came.
Ooh.
She got to openly kill someone and not have to cover it up or pay somebody extra or go to Arkansas to do it. She got to sit in a room that was dark with a bunch of screens and got to execute it flawlessly. She's like, "This is nice. This is better than my vibrator. This is real nice.
You'll never make me feel this way."
No. Monica couldn't even do this.
All right. Well, we have a big interview next week, Lobo. Richard Gage is coming on the show to talk about 9/11 again. The architect from he was the founder of Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth.
I'll tune in. I'll listen.
Yeah, you have any questions? Feel free to call in and ask. That goes for everyone else too. But yeah, I don't know if you saw that clip we shared the other week of the CIA agent talking about how we're helping Al Qaeda every time we bring up the collapse of Building 7.
Oh no, I haven't seen your clip on it, but I'm gonna get caught up. I didn't see your last interview that.
Lobo, do you listen to Sean Ryan?
No, until you guys mentioned him, I had to look him up. I don't listen to him daily.
Yeah, he's on my iffy list right now. He's out there in Romania talking about how Romania is going to be the start of World War III, and then like 3 days later, the EU stopped the elections in Romania.
Oh wow!
And the reason, I guess, is because the EU wants to build a big military base in Romania. And the person so in Romania, they go through 2 rounds of elections. And the guy that won it overwhelmingly the first round has promised to not allow that base to be built because he doesn't want war in Romania. And, you build a base there, someone's got to come and take it out. And so the EU just stopped the elections.
Wow, that's scary.
Which is in the constitutional right of the EU to do. So now it makes sense why Britain wanted out of the EU.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
I'm learning a lot. You guys bringing this stuff up, I wouldn't. None of this stuff would be on my radar unless I tuned into your guys' show.
Well, sometimes it's not great to focus on it all day, but it is nice to have it tucked away in the back of your mind as your day goes along, just so you sort of know the players out there, the little keywords. I still feel something's screwy before the inauguration. I can't put my finger on it, but
man, I just keep looking at this January 20th date, and I can't believe Trump is just waltzing around wherever he wants to go, and man,
it's gonna be interesting. Hopefully nothing bad happens because college football championship is that night. So if anything bad happens, they're gonna cancel that, and then the whole nation's gonna be pissed. So
yeah,
hopefully we get through January 20th just fine without anything. But all right, guys. Go ahead.
All right, guys. I'll thanks for doing the show again. Like I said, you're a lot of us that are, now that you're doing it, if you can do them every week or whenever you're doing them, this is where I get my cutting edge food for thought.
Well,
so
we're trying Wednesdays at 8. That's sort of our goal, Central Time, every Wednesday at 8, and then interviews are come and go, just based off of who we're talking to and what time works for them. But we'll always make sure we post them too for you. So thanks, Lobo. We love having you on. Anytime, buddy. The great Lobo Fish joining the show. He's been with us for a long time, man. Remember we thought he was like some fake account, and then we thought he was some 10-year-old kid, and then turns out not even close. All right.
No. He's interactive. He's legit. He's great to have on.
Yeah. No, we love having Lobo. Richard Gage joining the show next Wednesday, the 22nd at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. The founder of Architects and Engineers for 9/11 Truth. He's going to come on the show bringing slides. I didn't know how much we want to go over everything again, or if we just want to go from when we had him on last. And
where does he want to go?
We'll have a bit. We'll have a podcast meeting after the show about it. All right. I guess I don't have
sweet dreams.
Yeah, anything else? Love you too. And tell yourself you love you.
Oh, like I'm putting chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay. Do you understand that? Turn the friggin' frogs gay. Serious crap gay. Frogs friggin' frogs. It's not funny. I'm gonna say it real slow for you. Gay. Frogs.
don't subscribe to Phantom Facts Society, then don't talk to me or.
This is the emergency broadcast system. This is not a test. Repeat, this is not a test. This is our advice to take the following steps. If exposed, remove the phone.